Right guys, welcome back to another one here on the channel. People who have viewed my channel in the past will know that I've now got a 197 Clio, but I've also had a 172 Clio. So if you don't know about Clios, the 197 is the Mark III, that's my one here. It's like a 2006 to 2012, 2013-ish. And then the 172 is a step down from the 182, which is a Mark II, which went from like 2000 to 2005-ish. This is essentially a comparison of a Mark II Clio Sport to a Mark III Clio Sport with my brief ownership. So I owned the 172 for a month. I've owned this for 2 to 3 weeks. So I've got a vague idea, but I feel like I'm confident in what I'm about to say. This is also my third Clio. My very first car was just a generic Mark II 1.2 Clio. So in the Clio world, I do think I know my stuff-ish. So yeah, let's just get on with the video. Hopefully you enjoy it. It's quite an informative one, maybe, probably not. Like and subscribe, comment any suggestions or improvements and your thoughts. The 197 and the 172 are both a 2-litre 4-cylinder front-wheel drive hot hatch. So the number next to the names, the Clio 197, Clio 172, is a rough estimate on the power. So the 197 has got 197 horsepower. Doesn't take a genius to work that out. So my car, the 197, is more powerful than the 172. So on paper, it's a better car, done. The 197 does weigh a lot more. Now this is a positive and a negative. It's a negative because it feels slower. I'm gonna go sit in the car, it's so cold. Being in the 172, it felt significantly faster than the 197. I know it, well, it might be actually. I think in drag races, I know the 182 pulls on a 197. So I don't know if the 172 does. A lot of numbers in this video. It's confusing even for me. What I'm trying to say is the 197 is a lot more of a refined car. This is amazing to drive, and for everyday use, you couldn't ask for much more. But as far as a powerful or feeling like a powerful car goes, I think the 172 does have the edge on it. As I said, for every day, the 197 is perfect. You've got 6 gears. The 172 only has 5. The engine noise, when you're up in the revs, it does sound good, but just pottering around town, it doesn't drone, whereas the 172 does kind of kill you a bit. It's also a bit of a smaller car. As I said, with the 5 gears, the revs are screaming if you're on the motorway, and just pottering around town, it did feel a lot louder than my 197 does. So yeah, it's a positive and a negative. It's a positive for everyday driving, enjoying a car without it overpowering you. But it's a negative because the 172 did feel faster. I think it is faster. But the compromise for the 172, I think I've said the same point 100 times. The compromise for the 172 is that it's not as well put together. Obviously, it's like a 2003 car. My one was a 2003. They are old. Even the 197, like, this isn't anything special. It's a Clio. It's an old French car. It's never going to be like a luxury car. My heart is with the 172. However, driving the 197, I do truly think this is a keeper car. Ideally, I'll just get both, but that's another story completely. Looks wise, now obviously this is different for each individual person. I think the 197 looks cooler, and the reason I say that is because of the wide wings on it. Like, I've taken a front on photo. To the average person, it probably still looks like a normal Clio, but if you know what you're looking at, they do have styling cues that do make it stand out a lot more than a normal Clio. Even the dual exhaust, obviously the 182 has got dual exhaust as well, but I just think the 197 is cooler. It just looks so wide and so aggressive but subtle at the same time. It's not shouting, look at me, I'm trying to be something I'm not. It just does what it's meant to do, and it does it properly. Whereas the 172, yes, it's a bit wider than a standard Clio, but it is just a standard Clio looks wise. The 182 with the exhaust, it can kind of pass as like a special Clio, but even then, I think that year of Clio is really hard to look aggressive. Now again, this is my personal opinion, and it is hard for me to gauge it because the 172 did have an induction kit. But noise, I think the 172 did sound cooler. Take the induction away from it, obviously the 172 has got almost like a VTEC. So as you get higher in the revs, it opens up more and it sounds like a VTEC, like you're going up in the revs, and then I think it opens another throttle body. I'm wrong there. I know I'm wrong, but it opens something and it just sounds sick. I don't think the 197 has that. So drama wise, it doesn't sound as fun. It sounds good. I'm not saying it doesn't sound good. I'd love to get an induction kit and an exhaust on this car. but just as a standard car goes, it's good, but it's not as good as the 172, as I said, because it had like the VTEC and cool things like that. I know it isn't VTEC, it's just an easy way of saying it. So I've owned them both vaguely. Obviously I've owned a Mark II Clio in general for quite a long time, but 172 versus 197, which one would I personally own? For me, it would have to be the 197 because it is more of a put together car. It's still a small car. I'm not saying it's not a small car, but the 172 is just that bit too small as to where it's arguably uncomfortable. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I coped in a Mark II Clio for 3 years, so that's probably just me. Plus, I'm also driving the 197 now, and I don't have the other one to compare, so I might be blinded. But yeah, as of my thoughts right now, I would pick a 197 over the 172. But over a 182, that's another story completely. And hopefully you've enjoyed. It's been a bit of a vague one. As I said, I haven't owned the cars for too long, but I think I've got somewhat of a good insight as to what cars drive, how they drive, if that makes sense. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Like and subscribe. Comment any suggestions or improvements. Hopefully I'll see you again. Cheers.